I'm not necessarily arguing, but like 2021's Game 6, I think, is a better Game 6 than the 2022
Yo, why never
one.
no love for Bucks Suns, guys? Such a good series. So refreshing seeing those two logos show up.
Hello and welcome. I'm your host, William Liu. Today, I'm joined by co-host Alex Wong and producer Jerome Chang on the Hello and Welcome podcast, presented by Betway. Make sure you find Hello and Welcome wherever you listen to podcasts. Subscribe. Please rate and review the show. Also, please keep commenting, liking, and subscribing to our channel on YouTube. Really loving all the shorts that Jerome is putting out. The Maxi Kleber slander has only aged like fine wine between games 1, 2, and 3, and probably game 4 as well. And also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Hello Welcome Pod. Yeah, so the NBA Finals is looking like trash. I'm not going to lie to you. This is releasing on Friday. It's probably looking like a sweep. Even if it's not a sweep, it's basically over. The Boston Celtics will be your 2024 NBA champions. And that got us thinking, what are some actually good NBA Finals that we have tuned in for? Because this one just isn't it. So I'm going to bring in co-host Alex Wong, who produced this segment. What's going on, Alex?
What's going on, my brother? Yeah, we were bracing for, the nation's worst nightmare, and that was the Boston Celtics, dominating the finals, having the easiest run to a championship, since Bob Cousy. And, I think one of the things that we could dive into today, we got Jerome with us as well, is, I saw this question being posed on Twitter, actually, of like, how many good finals have there been in the last 10 years? And I thought we could go through each finals since 2014 and talk about some of the storylines, narratives that made each of the finals interesting. And then I've assigned the three of us, 3 different finals that we're going to give a Letterboxd rating to. Will, are you familiar with Letterboxd?
Why don't you explain it for context for everyone involved?
Yeah, Letterboxd is basically just a movie review app where cinephiles, certified cinephiles, give a 5-star rating from 1 to 5, and basically log all of their, Criterion Channel movies, as I do. So we're going to give a 5-star rating.
Okay.
So each of us are going to be assigned 3 different finals, give the rating, and we'll debate and agree on a rating. And we're going to figure out how many good finals there have been actually in the last 10 years. And to qualify to be a good finals, the rating has to be 3.5 or better. And also, there will be a Ian Mahinmi All-Star that goes to a player on a championship team that you should totally not remember, but could possibly be mentioned on a future podcast on each one. So let's start. Will, you are first to get the assignment with the 2014 NBA Finals. For those that remember, this was a rematch between the San Antonio Spurs and the Miami Heat. The previous year, Ray Allen, Game 6 shot, saved Miami's season. They went on to win Game 7 and the title. This was the Spurs' revenge. They ended up ending the Heatles in 5 games. We will remember the air conditioning in San Antonio not working in Game 1. So, yeah, Will, throw it to you. 2014 Finals. What do you remember, and what is your Letterboxd rating?
I mean, what I remember from the series was just, it felt like for the first time we watched like really, really, truly peak team basketball. I know there's been other like team basketball efforts, like 2004 Pistons, for example. That was more like team defensive effort, because offensively they were scoring like regularly, finishing games in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. This game is, in terms of the movement, in terms of sort of how much they had the Heat scrambling around, and the Heat were making their 4th straight finals appearance at this point. And obviously they had upset the Spurs, who were basically in range to clinch it the year before. It was just, I don't know, it was really just admirable to watch it. Like, people still talk about the Spurs performance of this day. I mean, it doesn't even matter that the series was 4-1. People remember so many things about the series. Manu Ginobili dunking all over Chris Bosh, taking it to the cup, and flushing. I think he was like 35 at the time. Like, it just felt, I don't know, the whole run for the Heat, they were kind of villains anyway. So for the Spurs to come back and actually like take them down by playing like the most ethical basketball of all time, like,
okay, JJ Redick.
By the way, JJ Redick, man, please take that Laker job, man. I can't stand it no more. But yeah, this is a certified 5 for me. The only thing holding it back is that it's 4-1. But I mean, it didn't even matter. I think the 4-1 kind of spoke to just how well the Spurs played, and it gave you your ultimate respect. It's the last title for that Spurs core of Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. It's the coming out party for Kawhi Leonard, who gets Finals MVP, did a great job guarding LeBron, and honestly, it was very satisfying watching the Heat go down. So yeah, that's a certified 5 for me.
Damn, I'm surprised you gave it a 5, man. Jerome, what do you think about this 5-star rating here?
I'm surprised about the 5. I
Really?
would put it up 5 personally, but it's like purely based on bias. This is one of my favorite series just because Kawhi Leonard's my favorite player, so this is his coming out party. I really had sore feelings about the previous year and the Ray Allen shot. To this day, I don't think I will watch the shot, or like at least voluntarily watch the shot. But no, so for me, like, it was very, like you said, it's like the revenge series. So I was like living it up and enjoying the whole thing, even though it was like a 4-1 series. But maybe one day I'll share with you guys my series of Kawhi Leonard, kawaii Japanese anime edits that I made back in those days.
Yeah, they will be coming to the Hello and Welcome YouTube page. Please subscribe. Yes. 5, I don't know, man. 5 got to be a classic, man.
You don't think this is a
classic?
I feel like the fact that it was a 5-game series alone disqualifies it from being like a 5.
No, but the reason it was a 5-game series was because San Antonio was so dominant. Like the Heat couldn't even score. I didn't even realize this. I'm looking at that. The Heat couldn't even crack 100 points. Their defense was also really good too.
The defense was really good, and they were just like.
I feel like you're giving 5 stars
at the half. Yeah,
I feel like you're giving 5 stars to the Spurs for how they're playing.
I'm sticking with this 5, man.
You're sticking with this 5.
I'm biased. I think it's like a 3.5 to 4. It's a good series.
I give it a 3.5 as well.
Yeah. Bro, Tiago Splitter, Corey Joseph, Matt Bonner.
Can we Tiago Splitter this and give it 4 stars as a committee?
Yo, this cast's deeper than Ocean's 11, man. Come on.
4 stars.
Right. 4 stars. That's fair.
Do you have a 1-line review? If you were to write a 1-line review recap for someone looking into this finals in like 50 years.
The beautiful game was perfected.
I love that. Why did you say it in that voice, Ebert?
You looked away.
Is
and
that your
looked back
movie?
to the camera.
Yeah, why was that so like theatrical, man?
I'm
he
trying
went
to get
and
5
found
stars
it.
myself.
Oh man! All right, next up. Oh yeah, by the way, the Ian Mahinmi All-Star for this series would be our guy Marco Bellinelli of the Spurs.
Bro, the whole team was the Ian Mahinmi All-Stars, man. No, seriously, we had so many good performances.
He was such a good contributor, like back then, but like I actually really love Boris Diaw because we don't really talk about him since.
Yeah, Diaw was too good to end up on this terrible All-Star compilation list. He deserves better than this. Okay, next up for me, 2015. So LeBron, after beefing with Pat Riley, ends up going back to Cleveland, forms his own super team with Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving, goes up against the Golden State Warriors. That's their start of their dynasty run. And the Warriors win 4-2 in this series. Braun has to carry the Cavs because Kevin Love is out very early on in the playoffs. I believe that was a Kelly Olynyk hit job.
That's right.
Kyrie Irving was also injured, so it was really Braun and the legend of Matthew Dellavedova just drinking coffee, guarding Steph. They somehow went up 2-1 in this series, but as we all know, the Warriors came back. Steph, Clay, Draymond win their first title. Andre Iguodala wins Finals MVP for holding LeBron to, I believe, 35, 10, and 8 in the series. Letterboxd rating for me, I give this a solid 4 stars. I think this was an entertaining series. I thought this was an entertaining series with Braun back in Cleveland.
I think the 6 games really factor in for you.
With the Dellavedova story, with LeBron actually getting them up 2-1, and then watching kind of Steph, Clay, and that team come together in their first finals. So 4 stars. You don't seem to agree there, Will.
I just don't think I had as many moments as that 2014 team. But I mean, at the same time, I agree with you. LeBron goes back to Cleveland, brings them right back to the finals. He's literally dragging them. The whole offense for Cleveland at that time was post LeBron. Like, they posted LeBron like 50 times a game in that series, and he would try to attack mismatches. The Warriors really adjusted really well in that one. Yeah, I mean, Steph's coming out party. I still think Steph should have got Finals MVP in this one. That's probably the lasting legacy for me. Is just like, who should have got Finals MVP? I really think Steph should have gotten it, but yeah. Aside from that, I don't really know. I mean, like, LeBron was basically playing with like 5 Ian Mahinmis. The funniest thing was him playing with Mozgov. Remember, Mozgov was also one of his teammates. He
That's
threw like
right.
a beautiful like no look behind the head. Like, he was like cutting across the lane, and he threw it behind him to Mozgov. One of the greatest passes I've ever seen. But I don't know, man. Jerome, like, is this a 4?
I think it's a 3.5 personally.
Yeah.
Like, I think if we're giving the Spurs series somewhere between 3.5 and 4, I think this is in that range too. Especially like once we start getting into like really good series moving up, like what are they going to be then? Like 6, 7 stars at that point. So
That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm
but
happy to make this 3.5.
I think 3.5 to 4 is fine. And then it's almost like Della Vadova should also get the Ian Mahinmi All-Star just because it was like his like one like shining moment, not to borrow from the
really was.
NCAA, but
Yeah, but unfortunately the rule, it has to come.
Yeah, what's
it
the
has to
rule?
come from the winning team.
Oh,
It has to come from the winning team.
okay.
So my guy Maurice Spates,
Then he definitely
takes
takes
home,
Mo
Spates.
takes
Mo
home the
Spates definitely
award.
deserves
here.
it then. That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
yo, what did Mo Space do in this finals to get this from you, Alex?
I don't know,
I'm
man.
so
Probably
confused,
just
man.
tweeted a couple times, chirped from the bench. Must have chirped at Kendrick Perkins or something. Because if you remember, Kendrick Perkins had
that's
was
right.
on the Cavs teams.
That's right.
Oh.
Was on a few of these Cavs teams as well.
Do you have a one-line review for this series?
Yeah, how did Andre Iguodala win Finals MVP when LeBron averaged 35.8, 13.3, and 8.8?
A near triple-double.
Yeah.
Hold on. This is a scandal, man. I just looked it up, man. How many points total do you think Mo Spates scored in this whole finals?
What, 0?
No, it's more than 0.
8.
But like, yeah, pretty close. It's 9. 9 points. He had
Nice.
8 points in game 1, and then scored 1 point the rest
Wow,
of the
he
way.
exploded for 8?
Like, bro, how could he get the award here? I'm so confused.
No, it's not about stats. It's just about the name that really
Oh,
jolts
okay.
you.
Oh, got you.
There's
This is
no
like the obscure jersey you would want from this title
There's
team.
no
Yeah.
statistical backing about
Okay.
this. It's just that when you remember the Warriors, you'll be like, oh man, Mo Spates, remember that guy?
You
Yo.
need to get a Mo Spates Warriors jersey with the championship patch, and that's your Coachella jersey. at that
Right,
point.
right.
Yeah.
That would be key.
Barbosa would have been sick for this one, too. I think.
Oh my God, Barbosa was on that team too.
Yo,
Yo, actually,
The
I
blur.
kind of want to give it to Barbosa at that point.
shout out
Oh
Leandro
my
Barbosa,
God.
man.
Okay,
Shout out
Ko-
Leandro Barbosa.
Okay, Ian Mahinmi All-Stars, Mo Spates, and the Brazilian blur, Leandro Barbosa. All right, Jerome, you drew the classic the following year. 2016, the Warriors go 73-9. They almost blow it in the Western Conference Finals. They go down 3-1 against OKC. Klay Thompson has a classic Game 6. They come back, and then they go up 3-1 in the finals. Draymond gets suspended. Klay tells LeBron this is a man's league. LeBron wears an Undertaker shirt and just chuckles at his presser. Him and Kyrie combined both drop 40 in Game 5. And then they blow out the Warriors in Game 6. Aisha Curry accuses the NBA of being rigged. And then we all know what happens in Game 7. There's the block. There's Kyrie's shot. And then I don't know if there was ever a nickname for Kevin Love just like locking up Steph on that one possession.
The stop.
lock? Oh, yeah.
Bro,
the
it's the
stop.
it's the block, the stop,
block,
and the shot.
That's amazing, man.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I think there's a clear-cut rating for this, but I'll throw it to you.
It's an obvious 2. No, it's a 5-star. It's like without a doubt. It's maybe the greatest finals that's ever happened. Period. For maybe the greatest season of NBA that's ever happened. Like
Seriously,
the Warriors
though.
go 73-9, Kobe retires, and this like final series. You listed out all the moments within the series. The trickle-down effect is crazy. Like, what happens afterward, Durant going to the Warriors, you have, is like, LeBron closing out the Believe Land story. You have maybe the first indication of Draymond being such a key to swinging a championship for the team that has, like, still existed to this very day. And Like, there's just like too much in there. Like, if Draymond doesn't get suspended in 2016, does he choke out Rudy Gobert in 2023?
Oh,
Man,
interesting.
no, honestly, I think Jerome makes a good point because you could argue that Draymond has been the main character of the NBA for like
What?
the past 8 years. Because like, without Draymond, punching
Yeah.
LeBron in the LeBrons, like the sequence of events leads to KD going to Golden State. And Draymond also has ushered in the popular player podcast era, which has become dominant. And without Draymond, maybe JJ Redick isn't inspired to start a podcast and ends
You know
up
what?
getting the Lakers job. And also, Draymond was responsible for also pushing, not only recruiting KD there, but pushing KD away as well, because they got into a fight, which ended up in KD, Kyrie, and James Harden forming in Brooklyn. And then you can go through the history of those three players and where they're all ended up now. And then also he helped Jordan Poole get to Washington as well. So, yeah,
He's
no,
at least,
Draymond is the center of the NBA universe.
You know
If
what?
he's not like the main character, he's just like the butterfly effect
He
canon
is.
event that like has affected so many things through violence, mostly.
You know what? You're actually right. He really did shape like a decade of basketball.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's
Basketball
Draymond
and
Green.
basketball media, which is crazy.
And it's Draymond Green. The Draymond Green main character theory, man. It's in effect.
yeah.
I like this. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Put some respect on Draymond. By the way, Draymond had arguably one of the greatest Game 7 performances of all time.
Oh, didn't he hit like 8 threes? He had like 35
Yeah.
points, I swear.
The bounce back was crazy off of suspension. Like,
Yeah.
I think at the beginning of that game, you legitimately thought like it was like the Warriors had it at that point, and then
And
all
then
of
they
it.
played Festus Ezeli in the fourth, And,
Yeah, Draymond had 32 points, 15 rebounds, 9 assists, 11 of 15 from the field, played 47 of a possible 48 minutes, knocked down 6 threes, all 4 of his free throws. I mean, like,
It's also like across.
has he
that-
ever had a 30-point and 6 3-pointer game ever again?
I don't
Before
think
or
so.
after?
I don't
Like,
think so. No.
Yeah.
No,
As
I
someone
mean,
across,
honestly,
like,
if they
that
won,
stretch,
I think
like-
Draymond would have got Finals MVP. Like, he
would
actually
have.
was
Oh yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
no, he was in
well.
play. It was in play for sure.
Steph was terrible in that game. Like wow.
Across that stretch of what is it? 3 games from getting suspended across to the. Like, has someone established their value more within that time?
both were better and worse.
At worse,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
it's crazy.
Damn,
This is
man.
what we needed the Draymond pod, by the way. We needed it in 2016, man. A React pod after that?
Oh my God.
Ooh.
Including
like-
him in the parking lot calling KD live on the pod.
That's crazy.
He's like, first star, my man Braun, great block.
Also for LeBron to block
Stay
like the
humble.
previous Finals MVP, like to close out
Yeah.
the series. I don't know. It's a perfect series. Like,
it's beautiful.
By
Yeah.
far 5-star. It is.
Love this one.
The 5-star where we're gonna measure every other Finals in this like whole thing.
For sure. Jerome, do you have a one line review for this?
Cleveland and NBA fans, this one's for you.
Love that.
Love that.
All right. Back to Will. So the following year, these weren't that enjoyable for me, but love to hear your thoughts. KD joins the Warriors, and yeah, they go 16-1 in these 2017 playoffs. Face the Cavs, arguably a even better Cavs team than the year before. But
Yeah.
the Warriors just run right over them with their super team and win in 5 games. And yeah, that's about it. I don't really have much memories from this one.
Yeah, this is such an interesting playoffs in general because both teams were so absolutely dominant. Like, yes, there were 16 teams that qualified for the playoffs, including the Raptors, but like, we all knew it was headed for a Warriors-Cavs rematch for the 3rd year in a row, and Warriors went 12-0 through the entire Western Conference, and the Cavs went 12-1. They lost like one random game to like the Celtics, I believe, but like these two teams were so far and away above the rest of the league. And then when they got to the finals, it was like, okay, yes, the Warriors are favorites, but like the Cavs have played so well and blah blah blah. And it was like, no, the Warriors just had such a higher level, and of course that's adding Kevin Durant to the team and everything like that. But like, I mean, even just that one, I think it was just seeing the levels that the both teams push each other to, right? Because the one game that the Warriors end up losing in the finals, which is their only loss in their entire run, they went 16-1, which is tied with the 2001 Lakers as like the best title run ever. The one game that they lost, the Cavs had to shoot 24 for 45 from three. 24 or 45 from three. They scored 137 points. That was the one. That's what it took to actually beat that Warriors team. It was like the most overpowered team you've ever seen. Kevin Durant fit in arguably seamlessly. Like there were maybe some like initial concerns with like him and Steph sharing the ball, and then Clay was like, "I'm not sacrificing shit," and he really didn't. But like, yeah, you had KD who gave them like an even better version of small ball. Like they went from Harrison Barnes to Kevin Durant. This was so unfair. And of course, everyone remembers KD coming down the floor and pulling up in LeBron's face. That was also the thing as a Raptor fan that was enjoyable for me. It was just like, okay, LeBron had been dominating us for 2 years in a row now, and he's going to do it one more year the year after. But like seeing him just completely outclassed, and like, I mean, he did everything he could in some of these series, but like just the fact that they had to also KD in that run. I mean, yeah, KD gets his, moment in the sun. By the way, let me throw this back to you, Alex. Who's more influential in the last decade, Kevin Durant or your boy Draymond?
Come on, man. You find every opportunity to slight KD, but you know what? I do have a slight, as you're talking about that shot, we talk about LeBron, we talk about Steph. They all have these classic finals moments that you can think of. Like, KD's classic moment is the one that you mentioned, hitting that three to put them up 3-0 in a series that was essentially over. Not as impactful as some of these other ones. Like, does KD, you know how we always say, does KD have stands? Does KD even have an iconic moment?
That's what I mean. That three felt like, when you're watching wrestling and the two great wrestlers are going at it, and then they're very close and both guys are very tired, and then at the very end...
Which two wrestlers? I'm going to need some names.
Rey Mysterio is fighting the Big Show, okay? David versus Goliath situation. They both exhausted, and at the very end, like... Who's the Che Guevara guy? Like, there was like, who am I talking about?
What?
No, like I cheat, I lie, I steal, whatever guy.
Oh, Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero, there you go. Yeah.
Oh,
Eddie,
the
sorry,
legend,
not Che.
man.
Yeah. Eddie comes in and just like hits the Big Show over the back with like a steel chair. And then, like, Rey Mysterio pins him. Like, that's how I felt with KD. It was like, bro, what is this? Like, how is that fair? How is that fair that you just came down in the middle of the... I think that's the thing that people got upset with KD about. Is just, like, the Cavs and the Warriors were going to go back and forth, and they were relatively close, and it was so fun. And then KD just completely tipped the scales and made it impossible, really, for anybody to beat that team. Except for the Raptors, but, whatever.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So what's your rating for this one?
I'm giving this a solid 3.5. A lot of relevant characters, but even when you think back to it, like the fact that the finals really only had like one or two moments for me was not enough. Yeah, I mean, it was a super dominant Warriors team. I enjoyed watching LeBron struggle, but yeah, 3.5, and that might be even generous. That might be a 3.
Yeah, let's drop it to a 3.
We need to have one series that's not a good series. I don't think this is...
Oh, they're coming up. Don't worry.
It's like our conclusion is the finals have been great the past decade.
No. Suns Bucks, that's not going to be a 3.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What's your one-line review for this series?
Kevin Durant ruined the league.
I love that.
Yeah.
By the way, the Ian Mahinmi All-Star for the previous series was Jordan McRae. You guys know Jordan McRae?
Yo, I thought it was gonna be Dante Jones. Remember when he had to come in for one flagrant foul per series?
Oh yeah, and then they prorated his fine based on his salary, so he ended up owing the league $750. For this series, it's Ian Clark. Any Ian Clark fans out there? Yeah.
Jan Clark, as they would say en français.
All right, next one is... Oh, this is me. So in the following year, so Kyrie leaves, and LeBron has to carry a team with Jeff Green, I believe, as the number 2 option in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Goodness.
And J.R. Smith. I believe Jordan Clarkson showed up mid-season there. This was the team, by the way, that swept the Raptors, the number 1 seeded Raptors, in the second round. Anyways, Cavs get to the finals. LeBron has, I would argue, maybe his best finals game ever. 51-8-8 in game 1, going toe-to-toe with these KD Warriors, and then everyone remembers the J.R. Smith blunder. They lose that game. They get swept. My only memory of this series was like LeBron checking out early in game 4 and just like dapping every single Warrior and their coaches in like the third quarter. He's like, I'm done, man.
He's like, Mike Brown, I'm happy for you, buddy.
This is a tough one. I'm going to give this series 2 stars, and that might be generous.
Wow.
I think 2 is about right. I would. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I think 2 is about right. I would give it like maybe a half bump just for like the iconic meme of J.R. Smith, but otherwise, there's no way it borders on like
meme gets 1 star, and LeBron's performance in game 1 gets 1 star.
Oh, so 1 per for a total 2. I'm for that math. Yeah.
That's fair. This is like one of those. This is like one of those bad movies that only has like one super memorable moment. But like otherwise, like it's like Rush Hour 3, like there's that one scene
still never
where
seen it.
Chris Tucker's fighting Sun Ming Ming. I'm not even kidding. Look it up.
No, is that where I got the name from?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't even seen.
Look up Sun Ming Ming, man. The guy was like 7'7". But like there's one scene where he's arguing with a guy and he's like, "You is not you. You is me." And it's like the joke is like, you and me are both Chinese last names. Anyway, there's like a lost in translation joke, but like the whole movie sucked except for like one somewhat memorable scene. So that's the series. So I think 2 is
2
fair.
stars. My one line review is KD continues to ruin the league. And
oh yeah,
Ian
another
Mahinmi
pull up 3 in that
All-Stars,
game 3.
Co All-Stars. Oh my God, Co All-Stars Nick Young and JaVale McGee.
Goodness.
So congrats on those knuckleheads on getting their ring.
The Wizards got their comeuppance, man.
Oh man,
happy for them.
All right, 2019.
What was the 1-line review of this?
1-line review. KD ruined the league again.
Oh, okay.
So 2019. I think we're all just gonna give this a 5-star rating, but the Raptors take down the Warriors 4-2. Kawhi comes to Toronto, leads them to a title. KD comes back in Game 5 with the Raptors up 3-1, gets injured. Kyle is blocked at the buzzer by main character Draymond Green. See? He's everywhere, man.
Oh my God.
Nothing in the NBA happens without Draymond Green from 2016 on, I'm telling you. So, and then Kyle Lowry, huge start in Game 6. Fred VanVleet, all these guys. The end of the KD Warriors. Canada, this is for you. We're actually recording this today on a Thursday, 5-year anniversary of that Game 6.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, there we go. I don't know if there's anything we need to add to this.
We're going to talk about this all season.
Yeah,
so.
we actually might every Friday. 5-star rating, Ian Mahinmi All-Star, Pat McCaw.
No love for... it is Pat McCaw, but I do want to shout out Jeremy Lin.
Yeah.
Yo, Jeremy Lin is hard for this one.
Jody
Meeks
played 1 minute
Jody Meeks,
in the finals. Yeah, I believe Jody Meeks also played 1 minute. Yeah.
All
Jordan
those jokes.
Lloyd.
Well, technically he wasn't on the roster. I think he was like 2-way or something. So he technically wasn't on the roster, but he traveled.
I know
with
it's
the
not
team.
the series. Like he's there in the iconic Kawhi shot, and so for me, like that just lets him be there. But Patrick McCaw, Christian Brown before Christian Brown.
Man, do people like Greg Monroe get a ring?
No. So that was one of the strange controversies. I guess the only people that I guess JV was the only guy who was on the roster, contributed that season.
CJ Miles too, you wouldn't say? Like
no, he was struggling at the start of that season. DeLon was struggling. JV was actually playing pretty well for the team.
Yeah.
And then your boy Draymond Green broke his hand. You remember?
Oh my God! I'm telling you, Draymond impacts everything.
No, you know what? You're right. Holy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but Draymond came in, broke his hand, and then the day he came back from injury, he got traded for Marc Gasol, who like absolutely was necessary to win this whole thing. But yeah, I mean, like, for all of us, it's definitely a 5. I would say outside of Toronto or maybe outside of Canada, this is probably like a 3.5. But
I say it'd still be like a 4. I don't know if I'm biased. I just feel like there were a lot
definitely
of entertaining
biased,
games.
man.
It's definitely biased. It's like at
Come
best
on.
a 3 or 3.5 to anyone. Not
Bro,
So
and-
many entertaining games.
Outside
in
of
that series.
Canada, people will remember KD going down and Clay going down.
Yeah.
You know.
No,
it's tough.
I think that's fair. That's their one-line review of this series.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if they're thinking about it, but
Right.
yeah. So I guess our one-line review is Canada. This is for you.
Damn. Honestly, fair enough. Let's get
All
back
right.
here.
All right.
2020. So a bunch of weird stuff happens after the 2019 season, and by weird stuff I mean there was a global pandemic.
Right.
And Jerome, this one is on you. It's the Heat and the Lakers in the bubble. And this is Jimmy Butler and the Heat making their first of two crazy runs to the finals. LeBron and AD win their first title. Believe Danny Green had a chance to close this series out in 5 games and couldn't do it, and got a lot of hate.
Lot of jersey photoshops.
Lot of jersey
photoshops.
lot of jersey photoshops.
Yep.
I'm gonna throw it to you, Jerome, because like bubble's kind of a blur for me. I don't really have much kind of memorable things from this series or the bubble in general.
Yeah. So like right off the rip, like I'm giving this a 3-star. I think what tells like how forgettable it is I keep on forgetting LeBron won a championship with the Lakers. There's that, and also when you think about the series, everyone thinks about Jimmy Butler more than the team that actually won. So all in all, like we don't really need to talk a little bit about that. I'll just give my 2 separate Letterboxd reviews. First one, insert tired Jimmy Butler meme, and second one, also known as the if Kawhi stayed back-to-back championship for the Raptors.
Bro, that's exactly what ruined it for me in this one. I didn't even want to watch this. No, the funniest thing is like at that time we were just waiting to get like our second shot, and then we would come home and watch this series. So like, just it didn't feel real, man. I'm sorry. Like I'm not trying to discredit the title. You know, like if the Raptors
I think we
had
are
won,
trying to discredit the title.
No,
I think we are discrediting.
I think I'm just saying contextually it didn't hit. You know what I mean? Like
It doesn't,
it'd be like if you won the title during World War II. It's like, all right, cool, but like bigger things are happening. Like, you know what I mean? This wasn't my focus at the time. So yeah. I still don't quite understand how the Heat got 2 games because that Heat roster just frankly wasn't that good. But I mean, those I don't know. Respect Jimmy Butler, but yeah. Also, that's the thing when you look at Jimmy too. Like the guy didn't get a haircut in like at least 6 weeks, and that because in that photo you're looking at him and it's like he looks like me. Like he just needs to get a cut, you know?
Right.
So
Yeah, I think 3 stars is good for that. Ian
I
Mahinmi
don't know.
All-Star.
That's a 2 for me.
Ian
That's a firm
Mahinmi
2.
All-Star. Quinn Cook.
I'm happy to meet it at a 2.5.
Yeah, let's do
right.
2.5. I think
2.5.
2.5 is good. All right, Will, 2021.
Oh wow.
Fans are kind of back in the arena. I believe the arenas are full by the time we get to the finals.
Yeah.
Chris Paul and the Suns going. Chris CP3, no nicknames, going for his first NBA title, going up against Giannis and the Bucks. The Suns take a 2-0 lead to open up the finals, and then the Bucks win 4 straight. Memorable Drew Holiday steal and then alley-oop to Giannis sequence at the end of Game 5 in Phoenix, and then Giannis closes it out at home, 50 points. And as you'll remember, his free throws were a main topic of conversation the whole playoffs, and he shot 17 of 19 from the free throw line in Game 6
In about
to
30
clinch.
minutes?
Yeah,
to shoot those?
to
Yeah.
clinch it all. Bucks over Suns in 2021.
Yeah, first off, I mean, I'm happy you mentioned the Drew Holiday steal because, like, how many clutch steals has Drew Holiday had, man? Like, this guy, I swear, his steal rate in the final 2 minutes is like 50%. Like, he just always has like a clutch steal, you know. But yeah, I mean, this series to me, quite frankly, was still during the COVID era. Like, I know fans were kind of back in the building, but there was like a conspiracy in the background of like, did Giannis and company have COVID? I think Jeff Teague, who was somehow on the Bucks in this one, candidate for the Ian Mahinmi All-Star in this one, I gotta say. But Jeff Teague actually did say on his podcast, he was talking to PJ Tucker, who had also won the title this year. He was like, "Yeah, the party was terrible. He just drove home after the
much.
That's what I mean. Like some of these COVID titles, I'm just like, I mean, yeah, they were fun, I guess, but yeah, there was a conspiracy. Like, did Giannis did he play despite COVID? All that stuff.
I don't know if that was a COVID thing or just a Milwaukee thing, to be honest.
Maybe a little bit of both. They had the fastest like championship parade. Like that bus was just speeding through. Like it was driving a solid like 50 kilometers per hour through that parade. They weren't exactly stopping at all.
I mean, Giannis was just back. Giannis was just back getting a 50-piece at like Chick-fil-A the next day.
Yeah,
man. He was just back to regular life.
The best part of this one was Chris Paul not winning a ring. I love that. Okay, sorry, CP.
I still root for CP, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that why you're gonna? Yeah. Well, we'll see. The only, we'll see FX is clipped, but that's probably the only time I'll be seeing Chris Paul from now on. No, I just root against Chris Paul, man. I just don't, like there's, I guess maybe it's just like the Kyle Lowry agenda, and I know Chris Paul's a better player than Kyle, but Kyle was way more impactful in towards a title than Chris Paul ever will be. So I'm gonna take that to my grave, and yeah, I just don't like him. And so I think in this series there was a dominating discussion. That was sort of the peak of DeAndre Ayton's career as well. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think this is a solid one. Like this is a solid one.
What? There were some entertaining games.
Crazy.
There was some fun games though.
Yeah, name me one fun play other than the lob to Giannis.
The game 5 was a really
DeAndre
good game.
Ayton had a good lob. I think that was like a game winner in I forget which game, but
So
I'm not helping my own cause. I'm not helping my own cause.
That was the
we're
Clippers
getting a third
series.
dose around this time, man.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna give it 2. Let's go with 2 stars.
I don't
I
know, man.
I think it's up to at least a 2.
I feel
One
like
is
there's a lot of hatred towards this series, man.
This is a 2 for me. Or this is a 1 for me, but
I thought it was a fun, refreshing kind of matchup too, man. To see these two teams.
was it? It was refreshing. Chris Middleton played really well in these finals. He was super important. Drew Holiday obviously had his moments, but yeah, I don't know. This is a solid 1 for me, man.
All right, what's your one line review for this?
One line review is
The series sucked. Like, just say it then.
The one line review is Thanasis, you are a champion.
Oh my god. Yeah, Ian Mahinmi All-Star, I guess, could always be Thanasis, but it goes to Bryn Forbes.
Yeah.
Y'all
Good.
remember Bryn? Okay. Next one, 2022 Warriors make their run back to the finals to take on the Boston Celtics. Al Horford goes off in game 1 and puts the Celtics ahead. And the Celtics are up 2-1 with a game 4 at home, and that's when Steph has his iconic 43-point performance in game 4. Center of the universe, Draymond drops post-game pods every game. Andrew Wiggins, arguably the second best player on a finals team.
Yeah.
And yeah, I give this one. Man, this is a tough one for me.
This is a good one, man.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah, this is good.
3.5.
Would you guys give higher than 3.5 though?
No.
I was gonna give 3.5.
I would give it only 4 just because they beat the Celtics, but the Celtics are going to get their title anyway, so that's aged poorly. It's at 3.5 back for me.
Yeah, 3.5 for me. You know, I think when we look back at the Warriors run, which seems like it's over now, like this will be arguably their most memorable finals.
This
Just
is
the way
like the
that they were able
Spurs
to do it.
2014 one.
Wait,
Yeah.
what? That's not their most memorable title.
Which
man.
do you think are the most memorable? The KD ones are not memorable.
The KD ones are pretty memorable for
I
how
think
good
the first
they were.
title's up there, but this one I think I agree because
This one's kind of got that Last Dance feeling, you know, like
It's
It
got
did,
the Last
yeah.
Dance feeling.
It was the Last Dance for sure.
It's
'Cause,
also
like,
the
Clay-
one where they actually got the Finals MVP, right?
oh yeah.
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 Well,
Yeah, Clay was kind of, already, not prime Clay coming back from that injury.
yeah.
Pretty surprising. And they had great role players too, like Kevon Looney, who I think is about to be waived in present day time.
Yeah, what's up with that one? Like, damn.
It's a weird wave. But yeah, 3.5 stars for me. 1 star, 1 line review. Celtics remain with 1 title since 1986. 1918 would be amazing. The NBA wasn't even around.
They got 1 title
They
since World
fighting
War
through
One,
the Great
man.
Depression, man. They fighting through Prohibition. Oh man! And finally,
Roaring
Jerome.
20s, man. Yeah.
Jerome, you draw the.
Oh wait, are Ian Mahinmi?
Oh,
All-Stars?
Ian Mahinmi. Nemisha Belisa.
Yo, relax. What?
Okay, Charles
Yo,
Barkley.
Nemanja is a very common name, man.
Nemanja Bjelica.
Yo, I could tell you didn't grow up on the West Side, man.
And I
The amount
believe
of Nemanjas I knew in my lifetime.
I added Andre Iguodala.
Andre Iguodala is also a good addition because late stage capitalism. Andre Iguodala.
He was
Bro,
a Finals
back on the
MVP
Warriors.
for that team.
Yo,
Like,
that meme of him going, be like,
Oh,
come
yeah.
over here to Andrew Wiggins.
which
exactly.
has
And
now
then he's
been
like,
which has now been
Focus.
recreated by the four Mavs calling Maxi Kleber over and being like, "Why are you around?
no, seriously, why are you around, man? Stop it.
Where's Dwight Powell?"
For the love of God, don't play him in game 4,
Oh,
man.
man.
Just let me enjoy the loss in peace. What about Otto Porter, bro? No, come on, this is Otto Porter's peak.
All right,
This will
all
lead
right.
to the Raptors signing Otto Porter, you know?
That's why the Ian Mahinmi All-Star is great, man. Everybody wants to pick one. 20 Jerome, finally you draw the 2023 finals from last year. The play-in Heat make their run all the way to the finals, go up against the Denver Nuggets, steal game 2 in Denver. And then I don't know. Nuggets just win the next 3. I don't really remember.
they
Like,
just kinda washed
there's not a
them.
lot of drama, to be honest. They just straight up washed them.
yeah,
It's such a
So
mismatch.
yeah, I don't know. I throw the rating over to you.
this is somewhere. So like, I think like unbiased, this is probably a 3. I bumped it.
I
up
thought you
a
would say
half-
2. Yeah.
Yeah, like because it's solid. Like I mean, the Nuggets were like a fun kind of team to watch. That way, Jokic was really good.
Yeah.
Watching Aaron Gordon go off, I think it's kind of weird because like the Heat were definitely not the matchup to make this an interesting finals. But at the same time, if we don't have the Heat, then it's the Celtics, and I don't want the Celtics there. So like that's the trade-off at that point. My also like personal bias is it's the first NBA Finals I got to attend and cover.
Oh, yeah.
So
Nice.
that's why like getting to be there, it had a bit of a Toronto Raptors vibe because it was their first title, and you kind of like just sense the vibe within the city of just like starting from like super happy to be here to like we might actually win this. And so I think like again, it's just like a personal bias at that point. I wouldn't be mad at like a 2.5 star to be honest, but like if you guys want to meet at a 3,
Yeah, let's do 3.
Ah, man. By the way, I got to tell people, Bruce Brown had some really good games in this finals.
yeah.
Come
Man.
get him for 3 first rounders.
Yo, yeah, I mean, I'll take 1, man. You could talk me down to 1, you know, like, but
Start
21
the bid
points
at
in
3.
game 4, crucial. 21 poins in game 4.
Ooh, plus
Come on,
minus. He got a good plus minus in there.
He was a plus 23 in this finals.
Mm.
There you go.
Damn,
There you
there
go.
we go, man.
My
Yamahimi-
review?
Yeah, your review.
I got to attend, so bonus half star.
Nice.
Wow.
Yamahimi
So what do we
All-Star.
end this at? 3.5?
I got the recap.
That's a 3?
We saying 3, right? Okay.
Yeah, we're saying 3. We won't give
Alright.
it a good rating.
Yamahimi
generous,
All-Star, DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah.
So based on our rating, we're saying anything above 3.5 is a good finals. I would say anything above 4 is we could say is like great.
Agreed. Yeah.
So there were 4 good finals
Okay.
in this
Yeah.
past decade: 2014, 2015, 2016, and of course the Raptors 2019.
Yeah, that's a little bias on our end. But, I mean, you know what? That finals, relatively speaking, now that I've reviewed all 10 of these, like, it should be in the
does
top
stand
half.
out.
Yeah.
But we've had a tough run.
Yeah.
We've had a tough run of actually getting like a classic finals matchup.
No,
Yeah.
it's been tough. I mean, that's the thing, though. I think my big takeaway from this is LeBron's just got to go back to the East. Like no, it was so much more fun when it was like LeBron was in the East. Not for us as Raptor fans, but like
Sure.
Yeah.
it was much more fun in terms of like at least he could like represent for the conference. Like I don't know, part of this is just there's certain teams that like come to the finals that like it just doesn't bring enough heat, and it's usually like you know the Eastern Conference teams. Like you look
Yeah.
at like Miami going to the finals last year. It's like all right, cool. It was great that you got here. It was really great that you climbed the mountain, but there's another mountain, and like you have nothing against it. You know what I mean? So,
Almost both times over. Like even in the 2021, I think
Yeah,
we
same.
loved the Jimmy Butler part about it, but then it was kind of a deflating finals because it just seemed like they actually seemed deflated, like as a team.
Yeah.
But like it seemed like a foregone conclusion at that point.
right. They had been in the bubble for like 2 months at that point, man.
Right.
They were
Yo,
literally
that's-
playing prison ball.
That's why I don't get the hate about Bucks Suns, man. Felt like both teams had a good chance.
I don't know, man.
And again, very refreshing matchup, man. Just very refreshing seeing Bucks Suns in the finals. You guys don't like that?
Alex Wong is a parody god.
Bucks Suns went straight to DVD. You know what? Bucks Suns wasn't good. There was no Draymond in that series, man. If Draymond was in the series, we
he probably guest commentated on NBA TV at some point, man. Oh man,
probably did.
All right, let's take the break. When we come back, we'll wrap up with our Letterboxd top 4.
There you go. You've been listening to Hello and Welcome podcast presented by Betway. Welcome back to the Hello and Welcome podcast presented by Betway. I'm joined by my co-host Alex, producer Jerome, and of course it's me, Will. We are going to wrap up here with our Letterboxd top 4. This is not series. This is actually individual games, which I was just made aware of during this brief break right here when we heard from our sponsors. So Alex, take it away.
Yeah, so these are games, 4 of us. The rule is that we don't have to pick from the 10 finals that we just reviewed. These are any finals games that we've watched in our lives. So my top 4, I'm going to start with 95 finals, game 1, Magic versus the Rockets. This was when Nick Anderson missed 4 free throws in the final seconds. And Shaq and Penny, that was my favorite team growing up. They end up losing that one. TNT's Kenny Smith hit a 3 to send it to overtime. And yeah, the Magic end up getting swept. Shaq and Penny break up a year later. That's like kind of my first finals memory. Next one, this one's easy one, 98. Jordan's last game with the Bulls, just iconic Game 6 Bulls versus Jazz with his shot. And then fast forward to more modern day, go with 2013, Game 6 Heat Spurs. That's a Ray Allen shot. Just the drama that went into that last minute, and all of it was incredible. And then, of course, 2019 Game 6 Raptors Warriors. So those are my 4. Jerome.
It's pretty strong.
That's good. So I kind of cheated from my first one, but I feel like they kind of wrap up as one. So 2019 Game 3 and 4 Raptors Warriors. Just the F that, let's get both. I think it's the moment where obviously like Game 6 is the championship winning and everything's great there, but I think like as I was going through these, I really love the game that like seemed to give like the hope, and like coming off of Game 4, I don't know that there was a better feeling until center of the league Draymond Green blocked Kyle Lowry. Number 2, I got 97 Game 5 Bulls Jazz. It's the flu game. It's one that I think I remember more in retrospect than I do like exactly in the moment, but like even in the moment I remember kind of vaguely just being like, that guy doesn't look too good, but playing really well. And I don't know, it's like one of those ones that you can't escape at this point because it's so part of the lore that it's one of the best finals games, period. 2011 Game 2 Mavericks Heat, the comeback.
That's
that one
really
was
good.
like absolutely incredible. I remember I watched it with my friend Chen at my place, and when it looked like it was over, and I looked this up, it was a 15-point lead with 7:15 left in the game. He left. We probably both were something around the lines of like, fuck the Heat. And then by the time he got home and he lived about like a 10-15 minute drive, I called him like, are you watching this right now? And the comeback was in effect, and like not just the comeback, but also like the Dirk game winner is like iconic. So
Of course, yeah.
it's one of the greatest like finals games, period. And then this is like an entirely biased take. It's not a good game, but 2014 Game 3 Spurs Heat. It's at least at this point in this series, it's tied 1-1. Heat have home advantage. It looks like we might be due for another upset for the Spurs, but the Spurs just start like washing them. It's like all the beautiful game stuff. I think they're up by like 20, score like 71 in the first half. But it's also the first steps. And again, like I said, Kawhi Leonard is my favorite player. So it's like the Kawhi awakening. Like he starts going off, he starts showing all the bits, not just like defensively, but like a little bit offensively that like leads him to become like the juggernaut that was our 2019 Finals MVP. It has the moment at the end of the game where Pops is just like punching Kawhi at the end of the game just because of how well he played. It has a really good baseline dunk from Kawhi again on Chris Anderson, which I'm pretty sure I made an edit out of, and we'll probably visit that sometime. So it's the beginning of Kawhi lore for me. And so, yeah, it has a special place in my heart.
Those are really great picks, honestly. Having to pick last and also not do my homework ahead of time has left me with some poorer choices, but that's
you
okay.
can pick ones that we picked, I think. I think that's fair.
No, that's fine. I'm really happy that you guys left Game 7, 2016, because like that's arguably the greatest finals game, at least in recent modern era, I would say. Like, again, because these are games that I've watched like in my lifetime, and I started like the first ever finals I watched was like 2004, Pistons versus
New Jersey Nets, Vince Carter.
Lakers. Yeah, exactly. Like that was like not. I mean, it was great. I mean, at the time, I was just like, how is anybody holding Shaq and Kobe to like 80 points a game? But like, I couldn't fully appreciate it at the time. Anyway, so 2016 Game 7. Obviously, you don't have to. There's like a million moments from this one. The shot, the block, the stop. Anyway, so that goes without saying. 2013. I'm gonna put Game 7 on here. I know Game 6 is on here, but Game 7 was also super close. I think it was a 4-point game at the very end there. And one of the most painful memories was, seeing Tim Duncan. He had a point blank layup, put back over Shane Battier.
The bunny,
and he missed it. And Tim Duncan's been so like stoic, like not that he doesn't express, but like he's very stoic in the middle of games. Seeing him like slap the floor in frustration, like you just never see it, because you kind of felt like, damn, like did he miss his shot? And he literally missed a shot, and obviously they lost that game.
Arguably, that shot affected the Spurs more than the Ray Allen shot, because for them, it was like the moment for Tim Duncan was like, for someone who we know to be like a machine, like always on point, missing that bunny like turned them into like this ridiculous like 2014 like well-oiled machine that like was just so focused on getting back the win.
Yeah, it did give him a lot of motivation. It was kind of like the anime heartbreak. It was Tim Duncan missing
Tim Duncan falling to his knees on Namek.
Bro, this man legit fell to his knees, his old knees. 2010 Game 7 as well. I want to put that on here. It's just obviously the two teams, the history between them. The Lakers, I guess, getting their get back over the Celtics. Meta World Peace gave that iconic post-game press conference. Kobe goes 6 of 24. Pau Gasol really helped them a lot in that game. Arguably, MVP-esque type of performance, but obviously got to give it to Kobe. It's just also the history of the lore behind it. Leon Poe, he's going to get that Ian Mahinmi All-Stars.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yes, great pull.
Damn.
Shouts to Leon Poe. And then I struggle with the fourth one. You guys are going to boo this one, but I personally really enjoyed Game 6 of 2022 when the Warriors overcame the Celtics. That game was really fun just to, like, see Steph's greatness. You know what I mean? Like, that was... It's not peak Steph, because I think Steph had higher peaks, but, like, in the finals when it was basically just him, because, like, Clay was whatever. He was cooking with, like, Jordan Poole. That was also the height of Poole's career too, but like seeing Steph break down, him crying after the game, like, and this is his fourth title, but I think it's the first one that really fully vindicated his status as an all-time player, because he had to do it by himself to that degree. There were like moments where like Bielitsa was locking up Tatum, which I really enjoyed. Gary Payton the second, so yeah, I'm gonna put Game 6 on here, but mostly this is just because I didn't do enough research ahead of time.
I like in terms of like recent Game 6s, I'm not necessarily arguing, but like 2021's Game 6, I think, is a better Game 6 than the 2022.
Yo, why never no love for Bucks Suns, guys? Such a good series. So refreshing seeing those two logos show up. Like,
what was fun about that series, man?
So
they were giving you stats on like, yo,
it even gave you a Giannis crying at the end. So you're like Steph crying over Giannis crying, is what you're saying.
Yeah, totally. I mean, no, it was more rewarding, I think, for Steph. I mean, the Giannis thing, like, cool. Like, I'm happy for him. I love Giannis' story. But, like, I just didn't, I don't know, it didn't hit the same way. This is why I think, actually, Dynasties is somewhat important, because at least you can follow a storyline. Like, you can't get to that moment with Steph without him having gone through so many finals appearances.
This does make sense why you're big government on this one.
Yeah, I'm definitely supporting
yeah.
Mr. Housing himself, Steph Curry. Yeah.
Well, awesome, man. No, I think it was cool to go through this past decade and hear about, Will's thoughts on Bucks Suns and some of these other series. Yeah, let us know your thoughts too. If you guys are listening, want to chime in on some of this, hit us up at info@hellowelcome.show. We have a voicemail as well if you go to hellowelcome.show. And yeah, we'll be back with more next week.
Yeah. By the way, I think we're all in agreement that 2024 Celtics Mavs, that's a -4. Like,
Hey,
it's a -5.
Series is not over yet. We'll review it when it's done.
Yeah, it didn't hit the same on Luka after fouling out. It's like, yeah, series not over. I'm like, okay, buddy.
So Xavier Tillman is the new leader now for the Ian Mahinmi All-Star. He took it over from Braden Pritchard.
When he hit that 3?
Yeah.
Yes, that's when the season ended.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's tough. But yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Please continue to rate, review, subscribe to the Hello and Welcome podcast. And we'll be back with you next week.